Hey, just got done eating a lot of dinner, good food. Now setting up for the rest of my night. For those who would have liked to see this or hear this will be on my YouTube channel. Because I think that even if my one voice doesn't do a lot, I think that having these recorded is ultimately better in long term because it demonstrates that there are more than just a couple voices who are at odds with what's going on right now in the Metroid Dread space, speedrun wise, of course. And my hope is that it's as a collective that we can bring a lot of awareness to what is going on with the situation around our game. And I do mean our game. No speedrun is without its players, after all. I don't have a script. I don't know how long I'm going to talk. I don't know how much I can offer that's within my own perspective or my own value, but I'll say what I started the stream to say, and yeah, we'll just go from there, right? So I've always been a competitive gamer in some regards. It's always been, on the couch wanting to win Smash as a child. Who could beat Star Fox 64 the fastest, And eventually I moved on to beating my cousin at fighting games. And then it was beating my friends at League of Legends. And then I found Metroid Dread, right? Metroid 6 or 7, whatever it happened to be. The newest, greatest Dread title, right? And at the time, I didn't know about the speedrun scene because I didn't know much about speedruns at all, But it was when I bought a Switch for the first time and said, I'm gonna play this game like crazy. And I just found out about speedrunning. So I joined the Dread server. Now, this is around 2022 late, if I understand correctly. As far as I understand, if I take a look here, Dread came out at the tail end of 2021. And the context of this talk is going to go around a lot of things. But it all stems from the very end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022, of course. So, as I don't know much about that time period, because I was not around at the time, I won't talk about it. Because I simply don't know. That's not what I'm here for. What I'm here for is to lay out that I found my home in this community and within this game and within this activity very, very easily from, what I said I was doing before, being competitive in couch games or table games or fighting games. And I made it a mission to be better than myself from yesterday and worse than myself from tomorrow in this game every day. I sacrificed, whether for good or for bad, I sacrificed a lot of my time in life to play this game incessantly for the better part of the moment I got my hands on it, in somewhere maybe in the middle of 2022, all the way until the end of 2023. That Dread was absolutely my main game. I streamed multiple hours a day, and when I wasn't streaming, I was playing the game a unreasonable amount. It was not smart. I probably would have had a better life if I didn't do that, but I did it. And because of that effort, I was able to find a strong foothold in the community, the Metroid Dread space. Originally, I don't remember who owned the server, but the server ownership was eventually transferred to the current server owner. And at some point, I was elevated to the community manager position, which is the equivalent of moderation. And then even later on, I was given the respect to be an admin. So I would like to say that my experience in the server has been multifaceted. I've been not just a normal member, not just a fierce competitor, and not just a moderator, but also I've been an administrator, keeping the interests of the server and community at large in mind, mostly acting as the top player liaison between the moderation team and the rest of the top players. I did what I could to maintain consistent contact with the Japanese players, oftentimes speaking with them in voice calls. During their monthly end of month Saturday get together, I would wake up at 8 o'clock for that because our 8 is their 9, and they started at 9 at the end of the evening. I would keep consistent contact, or at least attempt to keep consistent contact, to some failure for some of these players, with the best of our games, or the best of our games players. I won't name names, but we all know who they are. Our game has very few exceptional talent over the last 3 years. There's only a handful of them across 2 regions, I would say. And I've been paying very, very close attention, even when I wasn't playing. So, it comes as no surprise, of course, that because of this focus on the highest level of play, as well as being, at the time, what I considered to be good friends with all levels of play, right? Whether it's, news to the game, intermediate, right? It comes as no surprise when I say that the recent decision, elevated roughly 5 days ago, if I understand correctly, to completely uncap Turbo to 21. Somebody out there is gonna say, that's not what uncapped means. I don't care. You can bite me at this point. To release the limiters on Turbo to 21 hertz, and to release all restrictions that existed in the past around Turbo. It is within my perspective that this decision is not indicative of the perspective of the community at large. I have not yet spoken with a single person within or without or outside of that server who is not on the staff team who agrees with this decision, not just in the way that it was made, but also simply the decision itself. My biggest personal grievance with this decision is that it was made behind bars without anyone's input at all. They have gone on record mentioning that this is a decision that they had all the research for, or so they say, and that they had all the information to make. And so they did it for the betterment of the community at large, representing the community and its wishes. For me, that's a complete load of shit. As one of the longest lasting representing top players in this space, I do not feel that any of my opinions regarding this matter, ever since maybe the middle of 2023, have been well listened to. Because if they were, this decision would not have been made in the way that it has. I am on good authority to say that if you ask this to any top runner or any runner at all who does not use turbo, they are going to say something extremely similar. And if they aren't, then I'm sorry I missed you somehow. But it is in the fact that I missed you that I think, at least from my perspective, that this decision does not encompass the well wishes of the community at large. In my personal view, this decision made by the Dread community, or I apologize, not the Dread community, the Dread community managers, is, I guess, just a way for them to force the agenda. This is a speed game at the end of the day. Whether someone is doing it as a hobby, whether someone is doing it for competition, or whether someone is doing it for the love of the game, as we all are, I would hope. This does not change the mechanics of the game. The game is static. Why we play the game does not change any core facet of the game. Someone born in an iceberg and someone born from the toes of Hades would play this game and experience it the exact same mechanics. They have to press the same buttons to do the same things. And Samus only does the certain things that she does. Right? So when the community managers say certain things, such as, we've considered as many facets of this as we could, and we think that 21 hertz turbo, unrestricted, can exist on the same boards as players who do not elect to use the turbo function or any similar auto-fire function. I completely lose faith in them. My faith was already wavering in this team, which is why I left the team very abruptly during a certain disagreement that I won't elaborate on with the server owner. But as soon as this decision came out, that was it. Because that's when I know that these staff members don't understand speed running this game. They don't understand it. I have seen people mention similar arguments to them in these conversations and these threads. I have seen those people be responded to with, "It's not that much time," or "You can make up time elsewhere," and similar things. To respond to these comments like that misses the point entirely. That is not the point. The point is that players using turbo to that degree are fundamentally not playing the same game in a speedrunning context as players who do not use turbo. That is the point. To unilaterally make the decision to unrestrict turbo and to unrestrict the hertz requirement back to 21 is a complete and utter foolish endeavor. That is what I think. I don't think this decision was made with any rationality in mind. They will tell you to look at their 18,000 page document, which I have taken the time to read slowly. And they will tell you that it explains everything. They will treat it like a Bible. When really all I got from that document was, we've considered the facts, but we're not going to listen to them. That is what I got from that extremely large document. The link to this document will be in the description of this video. You can take a read for it on your own. Feel free to share it around with those who you know are interested in the dread space as a whole, and see if you reach the same conclusion as me. The Dread staff have no faith in their community, is what they communicate to me when they make this decision on their own. But more accurately, it's not that they don't have faith in their community, it's that they don't have faith in their community to agree with them. That is why I think they made this decision. Because if they did have the faith in their community to even go along with their agenda, they would have let a vote fly. It is the fact that they did not do that, alongside historical precedent of pushback against this type of decision, backed by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of man-hours of discussion, and evidence, comparison, players. I think that's why they didn't do this the right way. Spits in the face of myself as a player who has I've brought over a year of my life into this game. I have lived 26 years now. Tomorrow, I will have lived my 26th year, or begun my 26th year tomorrow. I gave away a year of that to this game. All of it. All of that year. And this is how I get treated as a player. I served my time on the staff team. I did what I could to advance the game. There are only a handful of staff members who I have a respect for at this point. For the rest, your support in making this decision, certain comments that some of you have made in discussions surrounding this decision, have caused me to lose any and all faith in your ability to lead this community, and more importantly, this speed game towards a direction where it can prosper. It is no secret that Dread is already a small game. It is a mainline Metroid title, with some of the most fleshed out mechanics I've ever seen in a 2D platforming game, with so much potential to be an insane speed game across all sorts of glitch and glitch-less categories, and our game is still so small. At this point, I can no longer think that our current staff team is capable of rejuvenating the scene and bringing it to a better direction. Because if they could, we would not have lost multiple runs, multiple players, and ultimately a lot of talent from our game. Sorry, give me a sec. Going forward, my plans for Dread are like this. I will be playing this game casually alongside other runners who have left the main Dread Discord space in the main speedrun.com for Metroid Dread space. I'll just be having a good time. I don't know what else I want to do with that other than that. I have already removed all my runs from the speedrun.com/mdread leaderboard. At least I'm pretty sure it's /mdread. I have no intentions to republish any of my runs to that board. My VODs will still be available on my YouTube channel, and they will only potentially be uploaded back to the boards under the following conditions. I will accept no less than an ownership change in that Dread server. I do not believe that any of those individuals on the staff team are capable of leading the community in a fair and faithful direction. So I will not do anything with this game until that happens. Until then, there is a side community that we are building, which I will also link in the description. Feel free to join it if you play Metroid Dread at all, and you want to be among players who want to improve at the game, evolve others' enjoyments of the game, and most ultimately, just have fun with each other as we play the game. Please join the server, and just let me know. If you never need anything with Dread, I might not play much anymore, but these hands have been playing it for 1.5 years. I can help you out. A lot of us can help you out. Let's not waste any talent anymore. Starting from the second Friday of January. Sorry, you heard my wallpaper engine. Starting from the second Friday of January, in that server, we will be hosting weekly races every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Or was it 8 p.m. Eastern? It's one of those two. We're still figuring it out. It'll be a come and run literally whatever you want day. We're just here to have fun, sit with each other, and do a race. Those of you who have been in the Japanese Discord before might realize that this is very similar to the end of month Saturday races that they used to do, that they no longer do. As far as I understand, anyway. So if you want to get together and play Dread, or simply even if you just want to watch some of our best talent play Dread, please take some time out of your night and just see what this game has to offer. To close these thoughts, I have, I guess, one more thing to say. I might have very strong opinions about this community and its leadership right now, but I don't really regret putting a lot of my time into this. Because you can always fix stuff, right? And then once you fix it, you can always prevent future problems from happening by using the past as precedent. So when this all smooths over, I'm sure it will. We can look back on it and just say, shit, we've been through that already. We don't gotta go through it again. I hope to never make any video like this ever from now on. I don't want to make anything like this again. I really don't want to make anything like this again. It would be nice if some months down the line, at the earliest, maybe a year down the line, or even if it's 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, we could just move on from this shit. That's it. I just want to move on. I just want to move on. And enjoy speedrunning the game that I once used to say was the greatest game ever made. And I kind of struggle to say that now, given the experiences I've had recently with this community. They are not faultless, much like I am not, but this is a fault that you just can't ignore. You can't ignore this fault. Can't do it. If you understand anything about the concept of due procedure, of leading a community, of representing the values of a community, and I mean a community, right, at large, the whole thing, you would never make a decision like this, and you would never say the things that you say in these discussions. You would never represent the viewpoints that you represent in that document. I don't want to talk anymore about this. I want to move on with my night. I want to have fun with the rest of my night. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to enjoy my time leading up to this weekend. Tomorrow is my birthday. I'm going to have a good-ass birthday. I'm going to go to Brooklyn. We're going to play fighting games. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, New Year's, I'm going to fucking play Genshin Impact. And I'm going to realize that I keep spending time on a game that kind of sucks. And I'm just going to have a good-ass week. I'm going to put the shit behind me. I said what I said. I'm not saying it again. Because every time I think about this shit, it hurts my heart.